Hello ladies, in this video I want to talk to you about pricing. I see so many social media managers, online media consultants, tech enthusiasts, and even tech specialists entering into the market, and they're confused on how to price because there is no standardization on the amount to actually charge, and because most of what you practice is based on your skill and time, it's quite difficult to find out how much value or to place the right monetary value on what you're actually selling or making available. When you're deciding on your price, there are different things to consider and there are different ways to actually put an amount on the value that you're actually giving out. But before you begin to talk about money, it is very important that you see yourself as delivering value or solving a problem, and then looking at it from the eyes of the customer. In doing this, how much money can it bring to the customer? How much value can this actually offer to my client, or what will it mean to my client? Having said that, when you decide to actually put your price in, you want to consider the tools that you use to work. If you're using a social media management tool like Buffer, Hootsuite or something, you're actually paying a subscription for them monthly. If you're using Canva to design, you're paying an amount of money monthly or annually for subscription, right? And all of those things. So you want to factor them into it. And those things that you're factoring are your running costs. You might need to buy fuel if you live in Africa and then you don't have constant electricity. You might need to buy fuel. You might need to buy data and all of those things. So you want to consider all of those things before you do your pricing. So what I'll tell you is get a sheet of paper, write down all the things you need to do your job. So if, for example, you're a social media manager, you have to be online as often as possible. So you're going to need data, you're going to need Canva, you're going to need Hootsuite, you're going to maybe a video marketing software or something. List them all out and find out a total of, if possible, monthly, even if you pay annually. So say, for example, I'm doing Canva $12, I'm doing this 1,000, and maybe at the end of the month, my running cost is 30,000 naira monthly. So whether I have one client, two clients, or whatever, I'm actually going to spend 30,000 naira monthly, right? And so I'm looking at my capacity can take only 3 clients in a month. So I'm taking only 3 clients in a month, I can't charge them 10,000 naira each. There's just no profit in that. Do you understand? I'm just giving this illustration. It's just a general illustration. So when you found out your running cost, the next thing you want to find out is how do you want to price and how do you want to work. There are 3 ways you can price based on the projects. You want to charge based on project basis. So for example, I come to you, hey, I have this project. I'm hosting a conference. So I come to you and I'm like, I'm hosting a conference for girls in the next 4 months. And between now and then, I want to build awareness and visibility and get as many girls as possible to register for my conference. And you're like, oh, fantastic. Okay, I'm ready. Can I come on board? Yes. So this project is just for 4 months. After the conference, I don't need to work with you anymore. I don't need a retainer staff. So that's a contract based on a project, right? So you don't need to charge that person monthly. You can, but you don't have to. You can just charge for the whole of this project. I'm going to manage the social media, post twice a day on maybe Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to set up the landing page where the girls are going to are going to go on board. I'm going to build a website for you. I'm also going to do this, and then this is the total amount I'm charging, all within this 4 months. That is a project-based pricing. But before you put a price, you want to find out generally how much the running cost, things you're going to spend, externally pay, and then you can put a markup on that amount. So say, for example, I'm spending 30,000 naira on all the running costs, fuel and all of those kind of things, and I decide, no, I'm charging 50% of whatever it is I'm spending. So if I'm charging, if it's 30,000 as my running cost, 50% of that is 15,000. So I'm like, my fee is 45,000. So you can decide to choose that, or you decide to place a value on your time. You can charge based on time. Based on time, it can be a little bit advisory, but you also have to align it with deliverables. So you say, I work per hour. You can't just wake up and say, I work per hour for 5,000 naira. No, you can do that. So in charging based on time, I always encourage people, find out how much it will cost you to live per month. So say, for example, every month, I have a son, okay, I'm going to have to buy tea for him every month, maybe tea or maybe Bonvita and milk. and Bonvita is 5,000 naira, Milk is 5,000 naira, maybe that's okay, that's 10,000 naira. I have to take my son to school, maybe I have to pay the bus fare, maybe it's 20,000 naira. I'm like, okay, I have to buy fuel, but there might be light or there might not be light. But if I say I'm buying fuel 1,000 naira every day for 1 month, that's 30,000 naira. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So you need to identify what your monthly running cost is. I'm not saying you should go and put, I have to fly to Paris or Turkey. I'm just saying that. Generally, your basic running cost, and maybe you find out that on a monthly basis, you're spending 100,000 naira or 200,000 naira generally to survive. Then that means you should not earn less than 300,000 naira or thereabout monthly. And if you're earning less than 300,000, if you're earning 300,000 naira monthly, or that means you must earn at least 200 because your running cost is 200. So you're like, oh, I must earn like 300 because I have to do emergencies, I have to save medical and all. So if I have to earn at least 300,000 naira monthly and a month has 30 days, that means each day I must earn 1,000 naira. Do you understand? And you're like, if I must earn 1,000 naira each day, that means per hour, let's say 24 hours, you sleep for 8 hours and you have the remaining time, like 16 hours, you divide the 1,000 naira by 6. However, you also know that you don't have to work, you don't usually work the whole 30 days of the week. Maybe on Sundays you go to church or you're off work. So you divide it by the amount of days you have. And then when you divide it, you're able to know how much you're worth, how much you want to charge per hour. Now, this amount that you're putting per hour should be your barest minimum. Remember, you have calculated transport, everything that you have put in, that you need to put in place. But this should be your barest minimum. Meaning, if I begin to negotiate with somebody, if my charge per hour is $50, and I come to you and start with $100 and we negotiate, but I will never go beyond or below $50. Do you understand? Then the third way to price is actually per month. Per month. So you can decide to price per month, and in negotiating, you understand your value and you know what you're bringing to the table. You look at your skills. You know that if I commit to these people 2 hours per month, 2 hours per day for a month, they're going to get social number of visibility or awareness. And you talk not from a place of emotions that, to raise my child's school fees is 500,000, so you have to pay me 1 million. No, you talk from a place of results on what you're providing, the value you are providing to them, and you negotiate from that angle, and you see you win everything. So I hope with these tips of mine, you should be able to set your pricing very well. I get that question a lot. How much could I price? I'm sorry, I can't tell you that. I've just given you some guidelines on how to get that. However, if you're on board as one of our staff or employees at the Techie Training Incubator, we negotiate for you and we can help you do this. So I look forward to as many of you coming on board as possible. Thank you.